Before we begin, please like and subscribe to the channel, because what you're about to hear today isn't what's on the news, it's what happens behind them. Donald Trump is back in the spotlight with a bold plan for Gaza. And this time, the impact isn't just on the Middle East, but on the very heart of the Israeli government. Benjamin Netanyahu, known for his political skill and unwavering resistance, now finds himself cornered in a near-impossible situation. Follow the path laid out by Trump, or risk breaking with Israel's closest ally. It's a dilemma that mixes diplomacy, survival, and above all, reputation. While some see the plan as a hope for peace, others call it a ticking time bomb disguised as a political agreement. And the big question is, to what extent can a leader negotiate the security of his people without compromising his own political soul? Stay until the end, because understanding this dilemma is understanding not only the future of Israel, but the power game that is redrawing the world map. The political chessboard is shifting. In times of international tension, every political move becomes a piece in a larger game. Trump's plan for Gaza emerges as a bold move, mixing diplomacy and risk, while pushing Benjamin Netanyahu into an uncomfortable crossroads. On the one hand, the Israeli Prime Minister sees the promise of a solution that could alleviate external pressures. On the other, he faces the harsh reality of a divided country, where every decision is interpreted as a choice between loyalty and betrayal. It's as if he were playing chess with the pieces on fire. Within Israel, opinions are divided between pragmatism and national pride. Some see the American proposal as an opportunity to end decades of instability, while others see it as a threat disguised as peace. Netanyahu, an experienced politician and natural strategist, understands that yielding could mean losing control, not only of the government, but also of the historical narrative he has built around himself. And when history is written with blood and conviction, any deviation from the path can cost more than a position. It can cost the trust of the people themselves. Behind the scenes, diplomats whisper about promises, pressures, and possible concessions. Trump, always direct and theatrical, plays with time and the media, while Netanyahu tries to balance political survival with the duty to protect his nation. Each day, expectations rise, speeches become more intense, and the dilemma more evident. After all, how should a leader act when every decision he makes is a carefully laid trap? The double game of power. International politics is a game where smiles rarely mean trust, and Netanyahu knows this better than anyone. By agreeing to dialogue about Trump's plan for Gaza, he finds himself between two playing fields, one where the United States is pressing for quick results, the other where Arab neighbors and European allies are analyzing his every move with suspicion. It's the kind of situation where any wrong move can generate a diplomatic earthquake. However, for an experienced player, sometimes it's necessary to feign weakness to hide one's true decision-making power. Behind the scenes in Jerusalem, things are heating up. Ministers, military officials, and advisors are offering their opinions, each with their own hidden agenda. Some see the rapprochement with Trump as an opportunity to strengthen Israel's position on the global stage, especially at a time when the country is seeking legitimacy before international organizations. But there are also those who believe that this bond could turn into a chain reaction, because when a powerful nation offers support, the price is rarely declared. And the price, in this case, could be sovereignty over sensitive decisions. Trump, for his part, plays the game that made him famous: public pressure, grandiose promises, and a theatrical sense of urgency. Netanyahu, accustomed to operating in the shadows of diplomacy, is now thrust into the spotlight of an American narrative. It's as if he has to balance two towers in a whirlwind, the tower of loyalty and the tower of autonomy. And in this precarious balance, the Israeli leader is beginning to realize that the double game of power always exacts a price. Whoever plays on two boards inevitably loses a piece on one of them. The echo of history. History rarely repeats itself, but it rhymes, and Netanyahu's dilemma sounds like one of those bitter rhymes that time insists on reviving. Decades ago, Israeli leaders like Golda Meir and Yitzhak Rabin also faced similar dilemmas, yielding in the name of peace or resisting in the name of security. Both knew that, in Israel, political decisions are not merely administrative, they are existential. Each signature on an agreement carries the weight of generations who fought for a piece of land and a fragment of hope. Netanyahu, looking to the past, knows that no leader has survived this kind of choice unscathed. But there is a crucial difference. The global stage has never been so visible. Today, every gesture, every word, is amplified by cameras, analysts, and social networks hungry for conflict. The pressure that once came from diplomatic corridors now also comes from screens. History is no longer written only in books. It is now transmitted in real time. And this new type of exposure transforms the ruler into a character, and the character into a hostage of the narrative. It is the price of leadership in times of hyper-connectivity. Amid this storm of expectations, Netanyahu seems to hear the echo of those who came before him. The sound is the same, a silent warning that, in the pursuit of peace, many have been judged not by the result, but by the method. Perhaps that is why he hesitates to take the next step, because history, when misinterpreted, becomes a court of law, and the echo of past decisions still reverberates as a cruel reminder. Each attempt at peace can cost more than war itself. The survival calculation. Being a leader often means making calculations that morality cannot resolve. Netanyahu finds himself caught between political logic and the instinct for survival. Trump's plan for Gaza is not just a diplomatic proposal, it's a test of loyalty. Openly supporting it might secure the White House's favor, but it could also inflame his domestic base and weaken the support of the religious conservatives who underpin his coalition. On the other hand, rejecting the plan risks losing Israel's most important strategic ally. And in the game of power, losing American support is like abdicating the crown. Behind the scenes, every decision is measured with surgical precision. Advisors analyze the impact of every word. Generals assess security risks, and Netanyahu weighs not only the fate of the country, but his own legacy. He knows that history is not kind to the indecisive. And while he seeks to preserve the image of a strong leader, he understands that, politically, he is walking on quicksand. Every move he makes to stabilize his base ends up creating new cracks on another side of the government. It's the eternal equation of leadership, maintaining balance while everything around it oscillates. Some say that true power lies not in deciding, but in delaying the right decision until the last possible second. Netanyahu has mastered this art. He observes, tests, retreats, and advances, a strategist who understands that sometimes silence is the only way to survive. Even so, the world awaits an answer. And while the cameras follow him and his advisors pressure him, he knows that any choice made now will define not only the fate of the Middle East, but his own name in the pages of history. The crossroads of the future. The future rarely arrives with white flags. It arrives disguised, sometimes as an opportunity, sometimes as a trap. Trump's plan for Gaza may seem, at first glance, like an attempt at peace. But, between the lines, there is something deeper. A repositioning of American influence over the Middle East. Netanyahu understands this. He sees that accepting the plan is more than making a political decision. It's redefining Israel's role in a new world order that is still being written. And, in this scenario, there is no room for naivete. While negotiations drag on, each country in the region makes its own calculations. Egypt observes cautiously, Jordan fears instability on its borders, and Iran watches from afar, hoping for an opening to advance. On this chessboard, Israel is not just a player, it is the central piece. And Netanyahu, aware of this position, knows that any wrong move could reshape alliances, derail agreements and reignite old ghosts of war. It is the kind of crossroads where history takes a deep breath before taking the next step. The most curious thing is that, even with so many variables, the real battlefield may not be in Gaza, nor in Washington, but within Netanyahu himself. It is there that the war is being waged between the politician and the statesman, between pragmatism and idealism. And, while the world watches, he must decide which part of himself will lead the country in this new era. Doubt hangs in the air, silent, like the moment before a storm. Because in the end, every crossroads is, above all, a choice about who one wants to be. Ultimately, the question that remains is simple, yet powerful. How far should a leader go to protect their legacy? Netanyahu faces a choice that any of us have faced at some point, between what is right and what is convenient. And perhaps that's what makes this dilemma so fascinating. It reflects human nature on a political scale. Because deep down, who hasn't found themselves torn between the fear of losing and the courage to take risks? But there's something few realize. Decisions like these don't just shape governments, they shape eras. What's at stake isn't just an agreement between nations. It's the redefinition of power, influence, and identity in a world that's changing faster than we can keep up with. And observing this movement is a living lesson on how strategy, leadership, and courage intertwine on the stage of history. And now I ask you, if you were in his place, would you follow the path of the powerful ally or trust your own compass? Leave your opinion in the comments. I really want to know how you see this dilemma. And if you want to continue following analyses like this, subscribe to the channel, activate the bell, and share this video. Because the next chapter of this story is just beginning, and promises to be even more revealing.